Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. So I decided today to take advantage of another absolutely beautiful day. It's the 1st of November today here in Saskatchewan, Canada, and still no snow. And it's beautiful. I can be out here in just a vest and long sleeve shirt. So I thought I should take advantage of that and spend some time outside. I've been wanting to try to make a wreath for my front door, and I've been having trouble finding a good wreath form around here, and then I decided I'm just going to try and make one out of the tree branches and things that I have around the yard, and just try and make one that's completely out of natural products that I have that I could collect up around here. So I wanted to just see if it was even something I could do to get these twigs bent before I brought you along here. So I did start and do just one little loop here. Now what this is branches from a cherry tree that I have in my backyard. It's a, I think 5-6-year-old cherry tree, and it was getting a little bit out of control and bending over the fence a bit. It's planted way too close. So I had chopped the top off and had a bunch of branches anyways, just sitting around in a bucket waiting for me to chip them up next spring. So I decided to try and make the form out of that. And I just want to show you with the thicker end of the branch here, I just found that, you know, if you just try and make the circle like this, it wants to bend at the tip. It'll bend easily around the thinner part, but this part wants to stay straight. But if you take both thumbs and just hold on either side and just kind of bend, so you kind of hear just the slightest kind of cracky sound, and just kind of work your way around it and just kind of soften it out that way. And I could get it to kind of ease into that shape that I wanted. And then it starts to bend and form that circle shape that you want. So just work it until it's cooperating with you. And that seemed to work for me. So some of the branches I cleared of the leaves, like this one here. Some I left some of the leaves on. It just kind of depended. Like I said, I had these branches, I chopped them off a month or so ago, and they were just sitting all together in a bucket. So some were looking really rough. Some I thought still looked a little bit pretty. This one here actually still has some color on the leaves here on the stem part of the leaf. So I thought that would add nice interest. And I think, I'm trying to remember, I have branches from some forsythia or something in here as well. I think there was more than just the cherry tree in there. But what I'm going to do is just, so I got myself the branches, and then I have this jute twine. This isn't the strongest. I didn't go and buy anything for this project, so I'm hoping that this will hold up long enough to do this project. But if I was going out to buy something, I would buy something a little stronger than this. Just some scissors to cut the twine. I have my secateurs that I use to trim. Some of these stems were on really large branches that I just trimmed some of the stems off. And then I have gone around the yard and collected up a few different things from around the yard that I thought would look pretty to fill in and make this really lush and full. And I may still need to grab a few more things. They always say you need more than you think, but I thought I'd start with that. And then I also grabbed, like I said, I didn't go out to the store to get anything for this project, but I do quilt and sew, so I had some long pieces of fabric. Now they're not the best. I may wind up going out and getting a ribbon later on, but I just grabbed some long piece of fabric to see if I could make some sort of a loop or a bow to hang it with later on. And we'll see how that works. If I hate it, if it looks a little too messy and rustic, or if I think it works and I can use that. Because the great thing about using fabric like this is just cotton fabric from quilting, so it can just go into the compost bin later on. So here's some of the things that I collected and picked up to try and put into this wreath. I went through and I have some sedums, and now they're looking a little bit worse for wear here, but they'll still add some color. and I think they'll still work when everything's all put together. And I had just a few seed heads left from the astilbe. I really like that texture. I think lots of texture is going to be important with this. This is just escaping my brain right now what this is called. It'll come to me. I'll put it on the screen for you. And then these are some, I think this is golden Alexanders, but some of them were already going to seed, which isn't ideal. I'd rather have them more like that. But take what you can get in November. These could have been covered by snow. I have some grass here, and I have lots more out in the front if I need to get it. And I'm kind of enjoying it right now because we haven't had snow to knock it down. But if I need more, I'll definitely go cut more because I know it won't last. As soon as the snow comes, the heavy snows, it'll knock the grasses all down. So I may as well use them and enjoy them. I thought these stems of phlox might be kind of interesting worked in there. Maybe cut down a bit. I don't know, but. So I cut a few of those, and I have some anise hyssop. So I just cut one big branch with some seed heads. I do have more in the yard of this as well, so I can go and get more if I want more of that. And then I was out in the front yard and I cut some echinacea seed heads. I just love that texture of the echinacea, so I'd like to work that in somehow if I can. And then my main goal for going in the front yard was the spirea I knew I had out there. It has a little bit of a seed head in it, but mostly it was this gorgeous reddish, orange, yellow leaf and stem. I thought that would be beautiful, so I cut a whole bunch of that. While I was out there, I cut a little bit of dogwood. I believe this one is Rebel. And then this dogwood, it has a nice variegated leaf in it. So some of that in there. And then I do have some yarrow seed heads, just a few back here, kind of behind where I am. I could use those if I need. I have lots of different vines in the backyard I could use. So lots of things I can find if I need more. Okay, so let's see if I can actually get this frame completed before I really worry too much about cutting a whole lot for the rest of the wreath. I think since I started with the thicker end here, I went this way with it. This next branch that's thicker like this, I'll start this way and go around that direction. I just made a loop here in the center. I found this worked the best to get it pulled nice and tight. Just work my branch along there. And I just took one piece of twine and I'll go one way with it and the other piece and go the other way. And I'm just going to try and wrap these around. Now I'm sure there's better ways to do this, but like I said, I've never actually built my own wreath form before, so this is the method I've come up with. I think I'll just give it a little tie off once in a while. Like I said, this twine isn't the strongest, so that way if it breaks, I won't have lost everything. Just keep going. So pretty much at the end of my twine that I cut off, so I'm just gonna tie that piece. Just start it the same way. I get to the complete end, I'm just going to grab another branch and just try and work it in. I think with this thinner branches I'll be able to just kind of set them in and mold them as I go. So I'm just going to keep going along. And now that I have this basic frame made, I think I'll add in branches a lot more often. So once I get this one kind of secured here, then I can come in with another one. I'm just going to tie this in here. There, so I've got that third branch, pretty good start on it. I'm just gonna grab another one. This one's kind of thicker here, so I'm just gonna get a little coaxing. And right here, I can feel like this is where lots of stems were coming off, and it's really hard and thick, doesn't want to bend at all. So I'm just gonna snip that little end off. There's no point in fighting with it. Then I'll stick this one in. Try and keep getting these added in here. Okay, so I've added in quite a few more branches. And I just wanted to show you kind of what I've been doing these last few. So when I'm adding in a branch, I just find a spot where I can tie it in on some of these old ties here. And I'll try and just kind of sneak it in a little bit further down. And then just for extra security here, I'm just tying it in where there's some leftover ties from tying off some of the other couple of pieces. And then I'm just wrapping it around. And then I'll just try and find somewhere between the branches to weave it in so it stays put. Here, I think it's tight enough. I probably don't even need to tie this one. Just wrap it around. And then find a little gap here somewhere. Pop it through. So this might not be the most perfect circle wreath that I have going here, but it's working pretty well for me. And once I got that original frame kind of going, this was a lot easier to just kind of wrap these around and weave them in. There's this piece of twine there, so I just need to find a spot where I can get it to stay by the twine. So I'm just taking these stems that have more leaves on them. Weaving them through. And that's just adding more texture than structure at this point. So I need to find kind of a larger spot to space that in there. And once it's in, So that's my wreath. Like I said, it's not a perfect circle. It's kind of an oval, but I think works for me. So now I'm going to try and get some of my other decorations that I have there, and we'll see what we can do to kind of make this a little more pretty looking. I think I'll start with the kind of the more greenery and stems and things, and I'll just try and work them around the form, just tucking them into different places, and then I'll come back with the seed heads and kind of put those final touches on it. So I'm hoping I can just kind of push them in. Around the edges here. It'd help if I'd planned a larger space for this, I think. More pliable dogwoods. I might have to kind of bend them around there a bit more. I don't know. Let's see. So you can see how I'm just kind of alternating around, and I'm just poking them through between the branches. And any that are really long, I'm just wrapping around and poking back through the other side. So I'm going to keep going around and just try and keep filling this in. Well, I'm losing light, but I think that's quite pretty. Now I just need to add in some of the seed heads and things, and I think it'll look even better. So I've just taken a bundle of one of everything except the echinacea. Maybe I'll stick one of those in there too. Yeah, I'll stick that in there too. And I'm wrapping it with the burlap, and we'll see how this works, or with the twine, I mean. I'm hoping that I can kind of wriggle the stems in here. Just wrap that in and tie it in behind. There. So I think probably I'll only need about 6 to 7 of those little bundles to fill this in and just make it look really pretty. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. It was my very first time ever trying to make a wreath, like making my own frame and everything, and I didn't use any wire or anything, just, you know, the jute twine and just weaving things together. And this little bit of cotton here. I'm not sure about this as a ribbon. I'll probably find something. I'll go to the store and find. I actually, just a little bit of jute that was hanging there from one of the ties looked nice. I might see if I can find just some narrow jute twine, jute ribbon to put on there. But I think this would be a really nice decoration and something that you could definitely try at home. I might even try and make another one another time with, I have some really nice dark wine colored leaf 9 bark that still has some really nice leaves on it. That would be really nice as well. So, you know, it's not as hard as I thought it was. Hopefully I didn't make it look too hard in the video, you know, but it really was actually pretty easy. So give it a try and let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching. Bye. There's the finished wreath hung on my door. I think it turned out quite nice. I added a little bit more greens once I got it hanging here just to fill in some of the spots. You know, once it's hanging up, they always look just a little bit different. But I think that looks pretty nice. I think that works for a little bit of an autumn display for the last little bit until it's too cold to have pumpkins and things out here.